I truly endure, and nobody experiences like me. It was like all of that, and getting more enduring into my life request to demonstrate and to expand on that affliction. That is what I understood. It's dependably me better believe. It's always me right. When we thought the quarrel between Chris Rock and Will Smith had at last been settled, and everybody had continued on, that ended up being an enormous falsehood. None of the three gatherings included have continued on from the occasions at the 2022 Oscars in particular. Chris Rock anyway, as opposed to defy the Smiths straightforwardly or seek after a lawful case regarding this situation, he did what he knew how to do best: make a joke out of the circumstance. Chris Rock's most recent stand-up parody on Netflix is certainly worth discussing, particularly after the hijab at Jada Pinkett Smith in this video will be uncovered in Chris Rock's most recent move following his quarrel with Will Smith at the Oscars, and Jada Pinkett Smith's response to this new position at her family. So make certain to stay close by until the end, since number one is ensured to stun you. Before we start, remember to raise a ruckus around town button and leave a remark underneath saying I have bought in, and I will buy and buy answer to your remark. Let us start. Number 5, the beginning of emergency between Jen Pinkett and Chris Rock. Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith have been companions for near 26 years, yet all that changed at the 2022 Oscars grant night because of Will Smith charging to the state to smack Chris Rock across the face for a chat he felt was derogative towards his better half. The entire even begun like each Oscars honor night, yet it finished on an infamous note for the large numbers of watchers who saw the frightfulness committed by Will Smith that evening when he slapped Chris Rock. That solitary activity was labeled the most infamous crossroads throughout the entire existence of any Oscars occasion. Did anybody at any point envision Will Smith's activities toward Chris Rock? We think not. The explanation is that Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Chris Rock's fellowship can be followed back to the mid-90s, when Will Smith played the lead job in the famous series New Ruler of Bel-Air, despite the fact that Jada Pinkett Smith neglected to get the job during the tryout. Due to her level, the association had been made between the two, in spite of Will Smith actually being hitched to entertainer Cherise Zampino at the time. So exceptionally similarly as Will Smith's primary resource with Jada Pinkett Smith was on the arrangement of New Sovereign of Bel-Air, the stage was additionally where Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith at their most memorable contact. That relationship was supported until 2016, when Chris Rock pummeled Jada Pinkett Smith for not going to the 2016 Oscars grant due to absence of variety. Chris Rock said Jada Pinkett Smith told him not to go to the 2016 Oscars occasion since Will Smith wasn't designated for his job in Blackout, as the occasion played out. In addition to the fact that Chris Rock go to the 2016 Oscars, he was made the host. While offering his initial comment at the occasion, Chris Rock took a dig towards the Smith family. He took the shade further by hammering Will Smith for getting a beating $20 million for Wild West, in spite of the horrifying exhibition of the film in the cinematic world. For the vast majority individuals 2016 mobilizing against Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith by Chris Rock set the vibe for what occurred in 2022 at similar Oscars occasion. Number 4, the extraordinary second at the 2022 Oscars. One of the key features that will stay a long-lasting stain on the 2022 Oscars grants was Will Smith slapping Chris Rock anyway. Truly solitary activity carried back the Oscars into the pattern zone for 2022, as the news turned into a significant story across the world. Chris Rock and Will Smith are pals, and they have been for right around 30 years, separated from featuring the New Sovereign of Bel-Air together. Chris Rock once flaunted that he would never poke fun at specific individuals regardless of what was in question. A portion of individuals who made his off-limits regions on for satire are Barack Obama, Brad Pitt, and Will Smith. In a meeting with CNN in 2009, the Madagascar star said Obama's only one of those folks you know, like Will Smith. There are no Will Smith jokes, there are no Brad Pitt jokes. You realize, what are you going to say? Gracious, you used to do it with Jennifer Aniston, now you do it with Angelina Jolie. You're such a failure. Well, 8 years after the fact, It seems Will Smith is as of now not in Chris Rock's great books, and in 2022 the bizarre became visible on the honor night. The 2022 Oscars broadcasted live on Spring 12th, with the entire world watching what was going on at the popular Dolby Theater studio in Los Angeles. The entire contention began when Chris Rock went on the stage to introduce the honor for the Best Narrative component. Someplace along the line prior to declaring the victor, Chris Rock referred to Jada Pinkett Smith, sitting near her significant other Will Smith. And not too far off, he made her the subject of his joke by contrasting the entertainer's sluggish hairstyle with G.I. Jane. At first, Will Smith snickered at the joke, yet, on taking a gander at Jada Pinkett Smith's face, her demeanor plainly shows that she wasn't thinking about Chris Rock's take as a joke, understanding that Jada Pinkett Smith was disappointed the Lord Richard entertainer charged to the stage like he planned to embrace Chris Rock or have a discussion. Yet it was the point at which he slapped him that everybody got a brief look at his genuine expectation. At first, the vast majority thought the occurrence was prearranged, particularly in light of the fact that Chris Rock fought back or pulled up no type of protection. When Will Smith got back a seat, he hollered back, saying, "Keep my better half's name out of your mouth." Chris Rock answered by telling Will Smith, "Wow, fella." It was a G.I. Jane joke. Number 3. Chris Rock's response to Will Smith present Oscars. Responding on this lab, Chris Rock didn't record a police report on the episode, and as per sources near the humorist, they said Chris Rock isn't thinking about Will Smith. One more source uncovered to page 6 that, as opposed to concerning his work on suing the iRobot entertainer, the source said Chris Rock is in the middle of focusing on his visit, beginning with Boston, on the grounds that the visit had been sold out. Number 2. Chris Rock discharge back freely. Smith, no legal dispute for the present, says Chris Rock, yet his reaction to Will Smith slapping him on the stage at the 2022 Oscars occasion was distinctly through particular shock on Saturday night. The occasion was Chris Rock's most memorable finish of parody since the Oscar occasion, impacting the world forever as their very first Netflix adventure into live streaming. Wearing white and a ruler emblem around his neck, Chris Rock began his initial talk by illuminating his crowd that he would do whatever it takes not to stick into anyone on the evening, but rather on that very night Chris Rock didn't extra the Duchess of Sussex, the Kardashians, and the U.S. Capitol mob. And presently we're into the show, he started to give the crowd a piece about what really worked out at the 2022 Oscars grant night, especially his scandalous fight with Will Smith. Contrasting himself with Will Smith, Chris Rock said Will Smith had played Muhammad Ali, while he then again just went about as New Jack City. Chris Rock made a reference to Will Smith's 1991 hit tune, "It Actually Harms I Got Late Spring Raining in My Ears," yet it let the crowd know that he wasn't a casualty, and he was not hoping to get highlighted on the drama or Gail crying, since that could never occur in what had all the earmarks of being an immediate dig at Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Chris Rock said dissimilar to the couple, he wasn't trimmed into an ensnarement, and from the vibe of things, Jada Pinkett Smith hurt Will Smith beyond what he might at any point hurt him. Talking on why he didn't strike back voluntarily, Smith at the 2022 Oscars grant, Chris Rock said he recalled everything his folks said to him, which is don't battle before white individuals. Number 1. Jada Pinkett's response to Chris Rock after particular shock, while we are as yet hanging tight for an authority reaction from Jada Pinkett Smith on Chris Rock's ruthless assault on the Smith family. At specific shock sources near the entertainer and her significant other are saying that neither Jada Pinkett Smith nor any of her delegate will give any assertion soon, in light of the fact that the only thing that is important to the entertainer as of now is to put all that occurred at the 2022 Oscars behind her. The source likewise let individuals know that Jada had no part in this other than being all harassed. Another source let individuals know that the issue between Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith is on the grounds that Chris Rock is fixated on her, and that has been happening for just about 30 years. Luke Quarry decided to film his Netflix unique Her Old Neighborhood of Baltimore, fixated since the episode occurred on Walk 28, 2022. Jada Pinkett Smith has spread the word about it that her craving is to see Chris Rock, and Will Smith cover their quarrel on the grounds that the world requirements them both as of now in one more meeting on June 1. The Madagascar entertainer likewise said she is as of now concentrating on her well-being, especially her fight with alopecia, and she's anticipating helping individuals experiencing the condition to air their message and offer their experience while likewise teaching individuals about the condition. Jada Pinkett Smith additionally underlined the requirement for Will Smith and Chris Rock to shoot their blades for a unified world. And that is a wrap for the present video. You can tell us your thought process in the remark segment beneath, and assuming you partook in the present video, we bet you'll partake in the others that we have for you, so go ahead. And that like button and hit that buy-in button to get a report on the entirety of our astounding recordings, and hit that notice chime so you never need to miss an update from our channel. There's something else entirely to the diversion. Look at this connected video to see more. I will see you in the following video.